Welcome back, YouTubers. This is What's the Science Behind That. So in today's video, this is video number 6, providing evidence for God's existence. As we had last left off, I was talking about something with the so-called experiences with aliens through hypnosis or something like that. Anyways, why don't scientists apply the same thought process of an intelligence creating aliens, the same thought process, but instead of aliens, we apply this thought process with a DNA code. Instead, I don't know of any scientists who have used the same thought process of an intelligent designer for DNA, but they'd rather have an intelligent designer for something that doesn't even exist, which, I don't know. Would it prove that an intelligence must have produced it? If they did, they would realize that the complex information in DNA proves that an intelligence put it there. Because whenever you find a complex information, it's always traced back to a mind. As I mentioned near the end of the video, that I would get to a piece called the Fibonacci sequence. This, I believe, my personal opinion, is the mathematical number for God. I believe the number is 1.6180339887498948848. I believe that's the number, but I'm not exactly sure. The simple equation is that it goes like this: 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 8 is 13. 8 plus 13 is 21. And it just keeps going on and on and on. Now, the Fibonacci sequence is best described as a nautilus shell, just because that's what it looks like. But that's not exactly, that's not what it actually is. So, the spiral, yeah, it does look like a snail shell or an ammonite shell, or perhaps a curled up fiddlehead. That's what it resembles, but that's not what it is. As stated by Johannes Kepler, where is the matter? No. He says, where there is matter, there is geometry. The Fibonacci sequence can be found almost everywhere. Not literally everywhere, but somewhat almost everywhere. It can be found in nature, and things made to look natural. The Fibonacci sequence is also known as the God ratio, the golden ratio, the golden proportion, golden structure, golden number, the divine proportion, and the sexual divine. The Fibonacci sequence can be found from flowers to animals. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish because there's two different types of sequences, and I'll get to that in just a minute. That's where clouds, hurricanes, galaxies, and continents come into play. The Fibonacci sequence can be found through architecture and architectural elements of design. The Fibonacci sequence is even found within the human body, any individual human parts itself. Leonardo da Vinci, Vitruvian Man, is amongst many examples of this. Why, even your DNA has the Fibonacci sequence built onto it. The sequence formula is the letters F lowercase n equals F lowercase n minus 1 plus F lowercase minus 2. Wait, I messed that last part up. I meant to say F lowercase n minus 2. Sorry. The resulting numbers comes up to this: 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, 233, 377, and keeps continuing on. But you get the pattern. The division for the golden ratio is basically this. 144 divide 89 is 1.618, continuing on. 233 divide 144 is the same thing, 1.618, continuing on. And 377 divide 233 is still the same number, 1.618, continuing on. Now, I'm going to actually show you what I have in my notes here. You can see what I just read with the division. We have the funny looking Y shape, and then we have PHI. Can you see that? Okay. I just wanted to show you real quick what I was reading. A lot of people don't think it's in the Bible, but in reality, the Bible does indeed contain the sequence, but it's in a what I call a dead language, which you're not able to read because you don't see it. You're not actually using your eyes to see it. We have it in Matthew 16:19, Revelation 1:18 through 9:1, Revelation 3:7 as well, and in Isaiah 22:22. The key of David is the Hebrew alphabet and their numeral values, a knowledge of which will enable the reader to verify every fact laid down in this word. Also to solve the apparent mysteries of the Bible, as well as those of the Roman Church. Under this heading, I will give you the Hebrew alphabet. The first 22 letters are found in Psalm 119, with its numeral values, which are as following. We will start with Exodus 25:10, which states, "Thou shalt make thee an ark of gopher wood, 2 cubits and a half shall be thy length, 1 cubit and a half, the breadth thereof, half a cubit, and half the height," according to the King James Version Bible. Leonardo da Vinci, paintings, cars, everyday items, even music, as in written down on a piece of paper, that is. It's called musical sequence, even in the instruments. What if I told you that even food ratios use the Fibonacci sequence? This sequence is throughout photographs and the study of photography. But check this out. I found this interesting. It's known as the Fibonacci's cat. As stated by John Ruskin, in all perfectly beauty objects there is found the opposition of one part to another and a reciprocal balance. The Fibonacci sequence appears to be the key of sacred geometry. Look up sacred geometry if you wish, for a better understanding. Not only you can prove God exists through a geometric/mathematical equation such as the Fibonacci sequence, in my opinion, but the Fibonacci sequence, again in my opinion, is believed to be one of the best definitive proof that God does indeed exist. Let me clear up some things about the Fibonacci sequence. 1. Does the human face reflect golden ratios in its proportions? Not everyone will agree, but this statement is indeed true. There is plenty of evidence to demonstrate that the answer is a solid yes. 2. Does the design of the Parthenon reflect the golden ratio? Yes, but only in parts, and not the way you often hear. The front facade is often shown with a golden rectangle framing it to illustrate the golden ratio proportions. 3. Is the spiral of the narrowest shell based on the golden ratio? It can, but not in the way you often hear. The traditional golden spiral is constructed from a series of adjacent golden triangles. This creates a spiral that increases in dimension by the golden ratio with every 90-degree turn of the spiral. There is, however, more than one way to create a spiral with golden ratio proportions. Example: you can create a spiral that expands by the golden ratio with every 180-degree turn of the spiral. 4. Did Renaissance artists like Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci, and Michelangelo use the golden ratio in composition of their paintings? Yes, they did. Solid fact. This is often contested by debunkers as being completely unsupported. According to a PhD doctor, mathematics points out that there is no mention in the golden ratio in the biographies written about Da Vinci. First question: why are you reading a biography? Of course he's not going to mention in a biography. Wouldn't it be better to actually measure the painting than to read a biography? Most commentary on Leonardo da Vinci's use of the golden ratio in his painting is based on the Mona Lisa, which has very few linear composition elements from which to definitively measure a golden ratio. Golden ratios are really quite easy to see if you have the right tools, that is. Da Vinci's Last Supper and Annunciation and the Salvator Man are way much better examples to show clear composition lines at golden ratio points. How about Botticelli's? We have Birth of Venus. Was painted on a canvas which itself is a golden rectangle, and key elements of the painting are a golden ratio points of the painting's height and width. Michelangelo's creation of Adam had God's finger touching Adam's finger at the precise golden ratio point of the width of the area in which they are framed. Michelangelo used this divine proportion in the Sistine Chapel. Note: Raphael's The School of Athens features a golden rectangle placed front and center in the foreground of the painting, and the main scene above reveals many golden ratios in its composition. 5. Of the spiral seen in nature based on the golden ratio? Some are. In fact, there is another type of spiral that is related to the golden ratio. It is called logarithmic spiral. This spiral appears on pine cones, pineapples, and seed pods, which are similar plant structures. Now, similar plant structures are usually based on two successive numbers of the Fibonacci sequence. 6. Did French painter Georges Seurat use the golden ratio? Yes, he did. 7. Is the Great Pyramid of Giza based on a golden ratio? Possibly, but it's unknown at the moment. 8. Is the UN's headquarters building based on the golden ratio? Yes, it is. 9. Is it unique or myth? It's definitely unique. It's a special number with unique properties, and it's found in nature. 10. Does it prove God's existence? Yes, it does. The occurrence of the Fibonacci sequence in nature is an it is a emergent property in the system where it is found. There is plenty of reasons to believe that this does indeed prove the existence of God. If there was no God, how do you explain the Fibonacci sequence? Oh, let me guess. It evolved, right? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think mathematical numbers can evolve. So, this is just a recap of what we've talked about so far. 11 scientific evidences that prove God's existence that I have covered so far. 1. The complexity of Earth. 2. The beginning of the universe. 3. Uniform laws of nature. 4. The DNA code. 5. Space astrology. 6. Jesus. 7. Fibonacci sequence. 8. Messages, languages, and coded information. A better understanding. They never come from anything else besides a mind. No one has ever produced a single example of a message that did not come from a mind. 9. The human consciousness. 10. Fulfilled Bible prophecies. 11. Scientific evidence that everything said in the Bible happened. By the looks of it, that's all I really have for this topic. I wanted to be more information, but I really didn't find much information at all, other than really what I talked about. But along the way there was some good information, and other information was not very good information at all. If I haven't changed your mind yet into believing God does indeed exist, then I don't know what will change your mind. Again, basically in my opinion, this is the scientific evidence that I am providing to show you how God does exist. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Just, like I said, keep your opinions to yourself, alright? Well, okay then. I guess if all is said, then this is just about the end of the video. Please catch me up for another video, which I'll be releasing soon, on biblical giants. And until then, ciao YouTube!